POV.
Well, let's see how good they are. Right off the bat, going for the heat wave. So he's got the heat wave,
right? Yep. So he switched to vert.
Steitzer.
Steitz. It's good to have Steitzer back. Or we call it, there's some nickname of Steitzy is kind of the people implementing the VO. So he threw down a shield, covered the position.
Yeah, I like that little peek technique. I haven't personally done that, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like I learned a lot by watching this pro team video, actually, and how to play it. Like, we watch them, we have regular weekly play tests with them. I don't play with them generally because they're so good, and we put our kind of better players up against them.
Also noticed that player went straight for the power weapon that spawns on this map in Slayer, which is hard for me to use, if I'm being honest.
So you'll see, so you can see the friend foe. That's one of the obvious things you're looking at here. I know Sam was talking about it earlier. It's something that we've continued to kind of iterate and evolve, even beyond this build. I think this might be our main build right now.
Lost a teammate.
There's power weapon spawns there.
Skewer is it's satisfying as heck, but it's hard for me to use.
I am worse at that gun than I am at the commando rifle for sure. When you hit a target, like especially a vehicle, it's super satisfying. All right, so he was spectating. He missed the neutral.
Tried for it.
Tried for it.
Hard for us to hear in studio, but I believe you're hearing some personal AI coming through.
Yeah, you're hearing. There's a few things. So there's the Spartan chatter that we had in Halo 5. It really just kind of brings the battlefield, gives a lot more like reaction feedback to what's going on in the game. But you'll hear this personal AI, and what we did with them is we replaced what was called Spartan Leader or Team Leader, and it's just a more personal version of that, and they have a lot of personality, and so it lets you kind of swap around and kind of customize that feedback, and they give you a lot of low-level fit. Pulled the power up.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, that's a change, right? It doesn't activate on pickup anymore. You can hold on to it.
Yeah, we think that'll bring a lot in the long term and allow us to do more things with power-ups than kind of just, traditional kind of just quick stat kind of reflections, but having like really the notion of power equipment in the game.
One thing that we won't see in this point of view, I really love the visual language that you and the team have introduced. It's very obvious when someone's pocketing a power-up like that. You'll see a glowing trail behind them.
There's like a contrail behind them. Yeah, that was a big thing, is making sure we at least telegraphed that information. That was, making that switch, there was a lot of critical lenses on making sure that there was at least a readability to it in the gameplay.
So now it's sort of that risk-reward, right? Do I hold this and wait for that final push? Do I burn it now so I don't lose it?
Yeah, you make a lot of choices that way. Like I sometimes will pocket it and think I'm getting cocky, and then I'll lose it, and I'll give overshow. That was a dope. I'll give the OS to the enemy, which is super risky at that point.
We're seeing a couple of little sort of, what do we call those, tutorial tips popping up there, which you can turn off in the settings.
Yeah, you can turn them off, but they're death tips is what we call them. But yeah, giving you a little bit of feedback, about the type of weapon that killed you, or like how you can respond better to it.
I'm not sure at this point the pro team needs to know that, like, hey.
Yeah, exactly. Or just opt out if you don't really care about it, if you don't need that information, or it makes you feel bad, as some people might feel.
I do love this map.
Yeah, the pelicans flying by. It's it's an homage to Sergeant Avery Johnson, Academy of. So it's kind of cool just to kind of pay homage to one of ours and everybody's favorite character in the side of the Halo canon.
By the way, whoever this player is just getting active camo every spawn. I don't know what the other team's up to right now.
Seems to be watching that call out. Yeah, the power ups, we treat those like the power weapons and stuff. They're up on a pad. They have a lot of messaging and broadcasting about them, so you know when they're coming up.
Now your Spartan AI will tell you that, right?
Yeah, the Spartan AI calls it out as well. So there's a lot of information just kind of driving feedback. You get the stick there. You can see there's the weapon racks you'll see in the levels as well. He ran past one a second ago.
Yeah, right back
see in the background, right?
Yep.
What's cool about them is before you might run past where a weapon would spawn and then not realize that it's coming up in 2 seconds, and it could change your choice and how you deal with it. Like when we playtest this morning, I actually stopped at one point on a weapon rack because I was like, oh, it's 2 seconds out. I might as well wait for it and switch out my pistol, which I think I'm just telling everybody that I'm really bad with a lot of the guns in our game.
Watch my back.
That was a nice one.
Double kill.
I do love the sidekick.
It's really cool, and like when somebody's really good with it, it's really threatening because they can just feather that thing super fast and just crack
This player really likes this little like drop wall kind of
covering a
technique,
post,
huh?
yeah, and, like kind of locking down an entryway so they can watch their back. It's neat to watch how people use these, like all the different equipments in different ways.
Spike obtained.
Well, hopefully a lot of players this weekend are going to be lighting us up on social, sharing clips with us, because I can't wait to see just some of the new creative ways that the community at large figures out how to use this new sandbox.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. Like, I mean, like the way we have our maps tuned, like in our main builds, is they have different equipment and stuff on them, and because we don't have the entire sandbox in the flights, is we swap things out. So it's actually not even the same kind of basically map placement path that we would have in the released version of the game. But we, it just at least gives us something so we can get something in there for people to play with. Oh, match is getting close. You can hear the music starting to kick up, kind of signifying the end of the match is coming.
I do love that. The multiplayer music, very cool.
I'm really proud of the multiplayer music. There's a cool story about how we got to basically getting the music in the game. But it really meets this tone. It's something I've really wanted since Halo 4. Was this kind of post-rock soundtrack to the multiplayer. Well, actually just a Halo, but it became one of my goals for multiplayer.
Take your damage.
Last kill.
Lost a teammate.
5 minutes.